There's a secret reason your life is getting more expensive. A story that world leaders are watching very, very closely, but most people have no idea is even happening.
You've felt it, right? The price of a plane ticket, the cost to fill up your car, everything is climbing. And you might just chalk it up to, the way things are in 2026. But the real reason? It's a conflict brewing thousands of miles away.
The key to this whole mystery, the answer to that question, is hidden in one tiny passage of water. It's just 33 kilometers wide, but it holds the power to send the entire global economy into a tailspin.
Look, this isn't about some distant political drama. This is about your wallet. We're going to show you exactly how a fight on the other side of the planet is deciding the price you pay for, well, for everything.
Right now, as we speak, the pieces are moving on a global chessboard. Military forces are being deployed, global markets are getting spooked, and that's pushing oil prices way up. Airlines, they're already passing that cost directly onto you. And behind closed doors, governments are bracing for something that could impact billions of people.
So, what are we looking at here? Is this just another regional flare-up we hear about all the time? Or is this the one that doesn't stay contained? Could this be the trigger for a chain reaction that nobody can stop?
Okay, let's go back to our main clue, that 33-kilometer stretch of water. I want you to stop thinking of it as water. Think of it as a fuse connected to the entire global economy. And right now, that fuse is lit. 20%. That's it. That is the amount of the entire world's oil supply that flows through this one single choke point. One disruption here, and a fifth of the world's energy supply is immediately at risk. So you have to ask yourself, what single point on a map could possibly hold that much power? Power over the price of your commute, the cost of your vacation, the stability of your job, real power over your future.
The answer is the Strait of Hormuz. It's a name you might not know, but it is, without a doubt, one of the most critical economic arteries on the entire planet. Millions upon millions of barrels of oil have to squeeze through this tiny waterway every single day. If it gets blocked, the global economy literally holds its breath.
So to understand why this place is suddenly a flashpoint, we have to look at the players involved. For decades, they've been fighting a shadow war with things like cyber attacks and secret missions. But now, that secret war is exploding out into the open.
At its core, this whole thing is about power and fear. On one side, you have Iran, trying to secure its influence in the region, saying its nuclear program is just for peaceful energy. And on the other, you have the US and its ally Israel, who see that exact same program as an existential threat, and they have sworn they will never let Iran get a nuclear weapon.
Now, this isn't new. These tensions have been simmering for decades, but the pace is accelerating fast. What started as political stare-downs became a shadow war of sabotage. But just in the last few weeks, it's erupted into direct military strikes. And today, warships are patrolling those waters, and air defense systems are on high alert. The clock is ticking.
But hang on. These guys have been rivals for years. So why is the world economy freaking out now? Why in 2026 is this suddenly a global emergency? Well, the answer is how close the fighting has moved to that critical choke point.
This is where the investigation gets personal. We are going to connect the dots step by step, from those warships in the Persian Gulf directly to the receipt in your hand.
The chain reaction is shockingly simple, and it is fast. First, tensions rise near the strait. Just the possibility of a disruption is enough to spook the global markets. That fear makes oil prices spike. Airlines, who now have to pay way more for fuel, immediately slap on surcharges. And boom, just like that, the vacation you were saving up for just got a whole lot more expensive.
See, in our modern world, no conflict is ever really local. The global economy is this incredibly complex, tangled web. A crisis in one corner of the world can and absolutely will be felt by people on the other side of the planet.
And please, don't make the mistake of thinking this is just about your summer holiday. Higher fuel costs mean higher shipping costs. And that means the price of transporting nearly every single product you buy, from your phone to your food, goes up. A conflict over the Strait of Hormuz has a direct impact on the price of milk at your local store. So, what happens next? Well, the experts see three main paths this could go down. And these aren't just abstract ideas. These are three very different futures for your finances, depending entirely on what happens in the next few weeks. Okay, scenario 1, de-escalation. This is the best case. Diplomacy works, back channels open up, tensions are brought down, and the conflict is pulled back from the brink. If that happens, Markets would calm down, oil prices would settle, and this whole crisis would just fade away.
Scenario 2, and this is maybe the most likely, the stalemate. The conflict doesn't explode into a full-blown war, but it doesn't end either. Tensions just stay high. For the global economy, this means uncertainty becomes the new normal. Prices would stay high and wildly unpredictable.
And then there's scenario 3. This is the one that keeps economists up at night. A wider escalation. More countries get dragged in. The Strait of Hormuz is directly targeted, disrupting those vital shipping routes. That would trigger a massive shock to the world's energy supply, and it would almost certainly plunge the global economy into a severe crisis.
Which brings us to a final, pretty unsettling thought. This whole investigation shows how a single point of failure, that 33-kilometer fuse, can threaten the entire system we all rely on every single day. It really forces you to ask a tough question. Just how fragile is the world you depend on?